Can we talk about sex trafficking in brothels? ICE has called me after seeing my brothel videos. I don't know if I'll include this in the video because I don't know if that's like private or not, but
that is the biggest piece of
how long into creating content did you start getting the fame within the brothel world?
I was the top booker of the year literally my first year starting, and then I did it again in 2017, 2018, and 2019.
This is a BDSM room?
It is. This is our dungeon. Come on in. Are you comfortable touching a woman? Is that something you want to explore? I don't believe in making money off of other people's sex work. They are probably the people who are trafficking children on Jeff Epstein's island.
Well, hello.
Oh, hello.
Do you mind a camera on you?
No, get off. Come on in.
Oh, you're so good on camera already. Look at you.
Welcome to the Chicken Ranch.
Thank you so much for having me come, letting me come. In the brothel world, I always hear your name. You're just so educational and knowledgeable that I just like can't even believe I'm in front of you.
Oh, thank you. I really care about this industry. I spend just as much time working in the industry as I do defending the industry and promoting it because it's something I really do believe in.
You really are like the spokesperson for brothels, I feel like. What made you think I'm gonna start putting myself out there as a brothel worker?
There wasn't any hesitation when I started working at the ranches. I was like, well, this is really cool. Wait, people like are quiet about this and they're not putting their face on the internet and they don't want to talk about this? Well, I want to talk about this.
There isn't anyone else that I know of that's really doing the grind like you are.
I'm not one to glorify hustle culture at all whatsoever. Like, there needs to be work-life balance, particularly in sex work. We give so much of ourselves. And, you know, the old saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to take time away from the industry to breathe, revitalize, and restore your energy before you can come back in and give 100%. This is our main parlor and bar area.
We have a dancer too?
We do.
Yes, beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it. What's your name?
I'm Isabella. I go by Izzy here, so.
Matt, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. When the guys come in, this is like the bar setting, right?
This is it. This is the place. They come on in. Guests are able to have a drink while they're waiting for the lady to join them.
So this is where you live, right?
Yeah, so
This
this is my suite here. It's the back bungalow area.
Do you hang out here a lot?
I do during the summer months. This is one of my favorite places. It's in the shade. We get this great view of the mountains, which are snow-capped right now, which is really lovely. And then also during the summer too, we'll set up and have pool parties out here. So we'll have music and DJ. We've got like outdoor showers. Look around, there's nothing but mountains. There's mountains there.
It is
There's
gorgeous.
mountains there. It is one of my favorite places.
How long into creating content did you start getting the followers and the fame within the brothel world?
I was the top booker of the year literally my first year starting, and then I did it again in 2017, 2018, and 2019. I'm no 6 foot tall Amazon blonde with like double D boobs. That's not the most successful person. It's me, the real human.
I love it.
I'm 4'8". I'm really petite.
I mean, and also like, I'm sure a lot of guys love that you're small and Alice Little. I mean, I'm sure that played into your name, and
It did.
it's probably a fetish of a lot of guys too.
It definitely is. And like, I can't say that it's not. And I mean, there is a certain fun when somebody's able to pick you up and quite literally put you up against a wall and you're like, yes, I'm into this. But always ask before you pick somebody up.
Because that'll be a little extra charge.
Not even extra charge, but just like consent. Because so much of this industry is about consent. As both a sex worker and a sex educator, teaching people how to use the language of consent is really important because it translates far beyond just what happens here. They take those skills home and now they're a better lover, period, end of sentence.
So this is all yours right now.
Well, the other ladies absolutely have access to this space, but I do have a private room that is back here.
Fancy schmancy.
Really lovely. We have a living room set up here, and folks oftentimes will come during the football games, relax, pop some popcorn in the kitchen that's just around the corner, and kind of just get to know the ladies before heading back to one of the bedrooms. Guests that spend the night together may choose to cuddle up and watch some TV before bed. It just opens up a realm of different possibilities. So back here we have the kitchen that I mentioned.
You keep it so clean. It looks
Yeah,
spotless.
oh yeah, all the ladies here, we do our own cleaning because we are adults.
If you are one of those that have been wanting longer episodes and a way to support me and the channel, I started a Patreon. Thank you so much for your support.
It's very important to understand that traditionally 50% of that is going to the house. So what they actually are making is less than that. And then we're responsible for all of our own fees, all of our own doctors' expenses, travel, taxes. I mean, the girls maybe make 1/4 of what they actually put on their books. What they actually book, what translates to what they see in their pocket is maybe 1/4 of that. It scares me when people say, I'm here because of you, and they think it's going to be just easy, fast money. It's not. To make the kind of big money, large scale success, it requires a lot of work, and it doesn't happen overnight. Particularly if you're brand new. I mean, how are they going to know who you are to walk in to hand you however much money? I mean, when they say that sex work is work, really, sex work is work.
It does fascinate me, like the transition in your career when you realize, like, oh wow, I'm becoming very in demand, and I can alter how I look at my business now. I don't need to do lineups. I don't need to, I can request bigger rooms. Like that whole aspect of you and your career really fascinates me. When did that transition happen?
At a certain point in my career, the amount of requests that I was getting simply was an unmanageable wave. If I did not choose to be by appointment only, I would not get a chance to sleep. At this point in my career, I'm really lucky and privileged in that I get to be very selective about who I spend time with. When someone chooses to book with me, I choose them as much as they're choosing me. And so it's not about who has the most money, it's about who's a polite and decent person. So this room here, just a little bit different than the rest.
This is a BDSM room?
It is. This is our dungeon. Come on in.
Wow.
So the ladies actually planned this entire space themselves, furniture they wanted to have, and hand-selected everything that went into it. And so it's a place that we have a lot of pride in. I mean, where else are people going to worship Mistress Alice?
Is BDSM something that you offer?
Oh, absolutely, yes. So I started as a BDSM and sex educator, and so this room is one that I'm very intimately familiar with.
I said it like this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, will you do that?
Yep.
Oh, fun.
And then I could grab this, and so sometimes we have some very naughty boys that just need to go away for a little while.
I'm scared.
Oh, you're good.
Oh my god.
Okay.
I never see you again.
Okay, bye.
Oh my gosh.
Just kidding. So actually, and it opens up here.
Oh.
People can see out.
Oh my
While
gosh.
still being locked away. And now this is my suite, the safari room. And so this is my suite, and I bought a nice little bedspread to match the theme
I love it.
of the room, and it's just nice and cozy.
Are these bigger than the rooms over there?
A little bit, yes, but many of the rooms inside the house are just as large. Over the years, they've opened up and combined more than one room together to make one larger, nicer suite. Come on in.
Gorgeous. So bright.
Yeah, and so it's got, his and her sink.
I love it. So you have parties in the bathtub too and stuff?
Oh, all the time. I was just in here the other night with Lacey and a guest, and we had a really lovely time.
So you and Lacey do a lot of two girl parties?
We do. We have a lot of fun with them.
I love it. My series is generally about queer people or me going into a community and seeing what the queer situation is like
Oh,
there.
we're very queer here. Many of us are polyamorous, bisexual. This is like a very positive space for people to explore. Maybe, am I bisexual? I've been in a relationship, married, and like, where do I go to explore those feelings I've had for 30 years? It's here.
Before I came to brothels, I would have thought it's a very straight environment. You know, men run it, women come, men come in. But it's not like that at all.
No, not at all. It is very, very much so far more colorful than that. This is the environment that takes the perception and flips it on its head and makes you actually pause and think before making judgments and perceptions of people.
Can we talk about sex trafficking in brothels? I get asked that a lot. Even ICE has called me after seeing my brothel videos. And they were,
What?
I know, and they were like, we saw your brothel videos.
Wait, story time. What happened?
Yeah, ICE called me. I don't know if I'll include this in the video because I don't know if that's like private or not. And they were just like, you know, we've seen your brothel videos, and you get like really exclusive access in these places that we can't get in. If you ever see a woman that you feel like is being trafficked, please let us know. Which of course I would.
Oh God, yeah.
And that has never been my experience. But I feel like a lot of people think that brothels is full of sex trafficking.
It's not. That is the biggest piece of that is a crock of lies. And the people, frankly speaking, who want you to be looking for hidden women at the ranches that have been trafficked, they are probably the people who are trafficking children on Jeff Epstein's island. Let's be very, very clear here. That's not happening here. When I tell you this is the most extensive process. Every quarter, 4 times a year, we get fingerprinted, we get photographed, we have our IDs checked, and we do that at the sheriff's office by ourselves with the sheriff. If somebody was being trafficked, who would somebody go to? Who would you call? Let me think. Oh, right, the sheriff. Just a few days ago, the sheriffs came through and literally did the ID and face match with all the ladies in our cards to make sure every single person here is a licensed, vetted, and verified legal sex worker who has had their STD and STI tests come back. There's no problems. What we really need is decriminalization and legalization, ideally together. Decriminalization protects people who are genuinely the most at risk for trafficking, which are your migrant workers, your trans community. They can't call the cops if someone violates their consent because they came here from Guatemala. They don't have any sort of safety network. Whereas legalization is for those who are privileged enough to be able to choose to do this, who are not typically doing this at a survival level. I'm not the person that's being trafficked here. It's the person who doesn't have the ability to work here because they don't have a government ID. They're the people that need protected through decriminalization. And then legalization is just the luxury on top of it that allows for these systems to be created. Legalization in the United States right now is limited to Nevada. Those laws were written in the 1970s to benefit the brothel owners. How about we just have a brothel location and the girls are able to rent out the individual rooms, pay a flat amount, work their own businesses, and not give 50% of their money to someone else. This industry is ran by the workers. We are the heart and the lifeblood of this industry. And so if anybody is going to own a brothel, they should be a sex worker. Not just some random man that happened to come into $2 million in inheritance money. Like, he's already got a silver spoon in his mouth. He's fine.
I feel like you should own a brothel.
I don't want to own a brothel because I don't believe in making money off of other people's sex work. I don't want their money. They should make 100% of their money. I don't want 50% of their money. If I got to own a brothel, the very first thing I would do is make it a co-op. There's obviously like housekeeping expenses, food expenses, we got to pay our bills, you know. But like after that, yeah, the place can make a little bit of a profit so we can invest back into the business, but the majority of the money should be going into the pockets of the girls.
What's your favorite thing about working at a brothel?
I love couples. I love getting to help couples have their first consensual threesome with somebody who wants both parties to have fun. Because usually what we see is you come in and the couple sits down and she goes, I'm here for him. And I'm like, well, forget him. He's easy. I could literally just look at him and make a sexy face and he's going to have plenty of pleasure. Let's talk about you. Who are you? Why are you here? Where are your comforts and boundaries and limitations? What do you want to explore? Are you bisexual? Are you comfortable touching a woman? Is that something you want to explore? Or should the two of us just kind of be focused on him and his pleasure? How do you feel? That is such an essential part of it, and I really love getting to work with couples for that reason, because it changes somebody's intimacy for their entire lives once they've learned that I can share my partner and nobody's going to steal them away, and we get to come out of this knowing more about each other. That changes relationships for the better. That's a really beautiful thing.
I'm so moved by everything that you taught me today and your willingness to educate me and the viewers. I'm just so thankful. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I mean, these are really just amazing spaces. They're for men, they're for women, they're for couples, they're for virgins, they're for disabled folks, and it doesn't matter the disability, deaf, blind, in a wheelchair. Oh, we will make it work, don't worry. I know several positions that you can only do in a wheelchair. Like, you've got a leg up on everyone else without even realizing it. Like,
I love
this
it.
is for everyone. And that's how it should be.
Totally. Thank you so much. Yay. Okay, perfect. We did it.